thought the show was a good watch, but it was a very intense watch. I mean, the subject matter was, I mean, it just feels so relevant to so much of what's happening today. And obviously, Stephen, you kind of co-created and co-wrote this. I'd love to start by knowing just what kind of triggered you to deal with this topic.
I read an incident in the paper, and it was about a young boy killing a young girl, stabbing a young girl to death. And then not long after that, I saw on the news, on the television, that, you know, it happened again in a completely different part of the country. And a young boy had stabbed a young girl. And if I'm really honest with you, both of those incidents really hurt my heart in a way. And it just made me think, what's going on? Why? What's happened in today's society where a young boy, and they are young boys, feel a need or this age or whatever it may be, you know, I'll never understand it, to kill a young girl, to stab a young girl to death. And I knew we were going to be making a series, so I said to Phil, this is the idea I'd like us to focus on. And then I knew there was only one person who could write that and pull that idea out of my head, and that was Jack Thorne, who I think's a phenomenal writer. And then we created it together as a collective, do you know what I mean? And that's our main aim, to try and create conversations within the home, you know, with parents and their children, because we try to pass our moral code on to our children as much as we can, if, you know, ones that we've developed ourselves throughout our lives. And then also in school, we have an obligation to try and teach and help our children gain some kind of understanding of the world as a whole. But then it's the collective who's responsible in many ways, you know what I mean? So we're all kind of accountable in certain ways. And, you know, this is our future.
Thought this show was excellent. I mean, watching it, thinking about young children and things, and you go like, wow, this is not the world I want them to grow up in. Especially when you're dealing with incel culture, manosphere. I know Andrew Tate's name is mentioned in this, although you've said you don't really want the show to be dominated by that name.
It is mentioned in this show, but it's only ever mentioned by adults. And that's really deliberate, because Andrew Tate is the way that adults understand this issue. Whereas actually the people who are doing the real damage are not him. He's not taken seriously by kids, really. You know, like, you know, there's a lot more pernicious presences out there that are the real damage. You know, but it's not just about the parents, it's about everything. It's societal, it's governmental. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, we need to be talking about male rage and how male rage has been enabled by social media.